Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 7. Between the bottom right, we have America's finest, playing for Team Alpha X. It is Astrea. And in the top left, as our red Zerg player, playing for the Guangdong Freaks, it is soO. Alright, here we go. Quick probe scout here coming out of Astrea. Also managed to block his opponent's natural. Allows him to, that forces soO to take the natural base on the third base location. A fairly standard move in the Protoss versus Zerg matchup, and has been a rather standard move for a long time. Is this a wall? Ooh, I feel like this could be a game show, you know? Is this a wall or is this not? We're contestants in the show. They have to guess whether it's a full wall or not. They can kind of bluff, you know? They can bet money. I would go all in on that. This isn't a wall. There's definitely a hole over here. Like Lynx would fit through. If I was on, is this a wall or is it not? I would say this is not a wall. Then some exciting music would play. Na, 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 na. It's a Jaws theme. Na, na. And then the Lynx come in and it's like, oh, it is not a wall. 12 points for Harstem. You'll be adding into the big pot. And on top of that, you get to play a free bonus round. And the bonus round will be fairly easy. Will this probe get home or not? Probe will also get home. And that will give me a 1.5 times amplifier. Very nice. Look at that. I'm not actually sure if this is going to be a wall now. I'm looking at it, and maybe it is. I really want soO to test it. But there's no second gateway yet. I guess it's not that standard on this timing to have a second gate yet. It is not that standard. It's always difficult to see. This is not my own graphic settings, so you know everything looks a little different. On my own graphic settings, I definitely would have won. Is this a wall or is it not? But with these graphic settings, I'm not so sure. Life is rough. Stalker has a follow-up here. Oracle, Stalker. Gonna be a fast nexus here in the back base, I can only imagine. Stalker put it in this location to try and deny any potential scouting. On this map, I personally wouldn't even mind a Phoenix opener. Like Phoenix Oracle Oracle or Phoenix even Triple Oracle is something that you could see. Denying scouting is so important if you have a back base, because it does not allow the Zerg to see worker count. It does not allow the Zerg to see whether you even have a third base if you get a very fast Phoenix out. Feels like, wait, where's the Stalker of Astrea actually? Oh, he cancelled it. So he's gonna play single gate unit. But that's kind of wild. Huh. Cancel the Stalker and then rebuild it immediately. Allowed him to get a way faster Nexus. He's gonna have better eco. And if he doesn't get punished here by soO, who isn't link flooding or anything like that, life's actually gonna be a-okay here for Astrea. 3 workers. Ooh, no. Almost 3 workers get taken out. A little bit of misfire out of that Oracle means that 2 drones will survive with half HP. Could have been a 3rd worker down, but instead it's going to be 2 damaged drones. They'll have a common story to share then when they tell the other drones at the mining rig. They're Oracle survivors. Don't have many of those. Fleet Beacon has a follow-up. Okay, this is a build that we haven't seen in a while, honestly. I'm gonna say a while, I mean basically the last time since I watched the Max Packs here, because Max Packs love this build order. Double Oracle into double Stargate with a Fleet Beacon. Either can be a double Tempest or a double Carrier Rush. Now on this map, Tempest actually are semi-viable because you have this kind of cliff area where you can, you park your Tempest over here, you shoot drones, you shoot queens, you shoot spores. Somewhat viable, in my mind at least. But majority of the time when we see a build order like this, it actually is going to be Carriers. Rather than anything else. Oracle's actually doing way too much damage here. 9 worker kills already, 5 more have been taken out just now by these Oracles. Completely out of energy. Usually I'd say, hey, that's a big deal. Energy management on Oracles actually is an important factor in these games. But if you have the backdoor third base, it doesn't matter quite as much because you don't have to deal with any early Ling run buys. Astrea, however, is taking a 4th base already. 5 minutes and 33 seconds into the game while only being on double Stargate Carrier. If Astrea would be all-in right now with literally just anything, he would straight up die. He has nothing. Doesn't even have a Forge here, I don't believe he has. Getting the Forge in the Twilight at this moment. I mean, this is a terrible situation for Astrea if he was being all in. However, he's not being all in, and thus this situation is honestly completely freaking fine. This is going to just be okay. 7 overlords being constructed at the same time because soO was a little bit supply blocked. 65 workers against 68 right now, so Astrea is up in eco as well. Nexus timing is similar to the hatchery timing. 2 more carriers are being produced. And honestly, soO has nothing whatsoever to speak of. He has +1, which is nice. He's getting a Spire right now, which actually is the correct call, despite him not knowing whether that was going to be the correct call or not. Overseer is moving in at this point. Where's them carriers? Okay, carriers moving across the map. +1 should start the moment this all gets scouted. It did get scouted. We immediately see +1 start. Drones, macro hatchery over here. You have 7 queens. That should be enough if you have 3-4 transfuses. There's more than just 3-4 transfuses. There's 5 transfuses. No, 6 transfuses even. About to be 7. So I don't even think a single queen should really go down if soO micros this correctly. Does not micro it correctly. Loses a queen that still had a transfuse remaining. And then life can get a little bit harder. I mean, not that much harder, just a little bit harder. 7 workers do end up going down. I'm not quite sure against what. I want to say it is... Uh-oh! There's a battery here. What does that mean? Does that mean that this wasn't a wall? And that Lynx got in there? Or what's kicking off here, you know? I'm gonna test it after this game. I'm gonna see if it was a wall or not. Spire's about to finish. 4 carriers are out. This is a great situation for Astrea. He's just stacking into Templar Archives already. He's up to 7 gases right now, adding more and more gateways. Yes, there's a lot of money in the bank for soO, which he can use to build Corruptors, but Corruptors don't actually kill Zealots and Archons, and that is going to be the next step. Disruptors already being produced. Astrea is preparing for some type of Roach Queen Corruptor push, but there's not a single Roach out yet. There's melee upgrades on the way. I actually believe that if Astrea recalls these carriers to safety at some point in the near future, and I'm really talking about the next 10 seconds or so, I think he's just going to straight up win the game with the next push that he's going to be doing. I love this build order. I love the map pick as well, or the build order pick on this map. It's going to take out a couple of drones, and we'll lose 1 carrier. Hopefully there's going to be 1 carrier, right? Yep, there we go. 2 volleys of Corruptors not going to quite be enough. The +1 is about basically done at this point. More Corruptors in production right now, going up to 15 Corruptors, starting with the Carapace upgrade over the attack upgrade. I'm not sure if that's the correct call or not, but against carriers you definitely could make a case for it. Archons here in the follow-up, 2 more carriers also in production. It's just going to be a very big +2 air weapons timing, isn't it? And it's going to hit like a freaking truck. Like a bag of bricks hitting you in the face. Except then hard and fast. You know, like on one of them swings. Like something you would see in Home Alone, you know? Kevin on top of the stairs and a bag of bricks on like some swing. He cuts the cord and bang. What are they called? Marv and Harry? Harry and Marv, I think that's what they're called. Or Harv and Marv. The water bandits. Boom. Get hit straight in the face. I think that's what's about to happen with soO as well. Like, we can speculate for a long time, but he has no roaches, which you're gonna need roaches against an Archon Zealot army. Even if you were to have roaches, there's 3 disruptors out already. Queens will not work because of the disruptors, and there's also only 4 queens. That's another reason why they won't work. Like, this... I just don't see a way for Astrea not to win the game in the next 5 minutes, honestly. Like, I'm thinking of multiple scenarios. The only way Astrea could lose this is if he accidentally move commands the Archons away and loses like 4 or 5 carriers just like this. This is the first carrier that just gets taken out. That was really bad. Should have never happened with the Archons capable of zoning there. 5th base gets cancelled. Now, if these Zealots also get caught for free, that would be another bummer. But even despite all of these things, honestly, like, you're gonna need so many Banes to deal with these Archons. It's gonna lose the Zealots for free here, actually. Astrea's playing this out very sloppily. Very, very sloppily. Revelation. Could just start moving out right now. Warp in 2 more Archons and boom. Here we go. Definitely would not mind it. It's gonna hit one heck of a 2-2-2 timing. Or 2-2-2. Just 2-2 timing. +2 ground weapons as well as +2 air weapons is going to be the setup here for Astrea. 5th base being taken. Could go for a bit of a Zealot run by during all of it as well. Look how many Archons he has. He has 6 Archons, 4 carriers, soon to be 6 carriers. He's just gonna move across the map. I mean, there's not gonna be a single Hive unit, no Brood Lords to deal with this, which is something you definitely would need. You need Spores, maybe Infestors, Roach Ravager. It feels like soO played this out as if he was playing against a low gas gateway style with a bunch of Corruptors. Like, you can't play Ling Bane against this army. It is absolutely non-viable. I can keep talking about it, but what we're gonna see right here is Astrea is going to move across the map. He's going to A-move. soO is going to try to micro, and soO is going to lose the game. He just doesn't have the composition, and it's been fairly obvious to me for the past 4.5 minutes that he doesn't have the composition, and he's just not transitioning out of it. Yeah, he can build 21 more links, or 21 more Bane links. It's just not going to be enough. I'm surprised that Astrea is going back home. I really am surprised that Astrea is going to go back home. He's losing a Prism right now. He's going to take out a couple of these Corruptors. I guess in some way, soO's army isn't actually getting any better. Like, as long as there's no tech units coming in, soO's army is getting worse and Astrea's is getting better. I'd be afraid though of like Infestors coming out, of Broodlords morphing in the near future, of like a couple of Ultras popping. Ultras are actually really good against this type of comp because there's no Immortals in it. Archons are okay at tanking Ultras, but they're not so great in actually killing them. So, a couple more Corruptors gonna get taken out. We currently are still on 6 carriers. We have way too many Archons, and just like in the past 3 minutes, if at any point Astrea decides to attack and A-move across the map, he is most likely straight up going to win a fight and most likely win the game as well. Lynx try to get connections. soO drops 50 supply. I mean, I don't really understand the comp that soO is going for here. Like, Zergs have kind of figured out on what to do against these carrier pushes, and the answer there is Broodlords. Broodlords with a Spore Wall. You initially need some Roaches in there as well, or even some Ravagers that help zone and kind of kite this Archon army. But you're basically building Ling Bane against an army that there's not a single unit that is bad against Ling Bane. Except the Disruptor maybe. But Archons are the hard counter to Ling Bane, and carriers can't get hit by Ling Bane. Yeah, soO's forced to tap out, and Astrea takes game number 1. We find ourselves here in the second game, and I have an embarrassing admission to make, as I have realized that I was wrong. It was a wall after all. I tested it in a, on the same map, and I rebuilt the wall. I took some screenshots, and I realized I made the same wall, and that the wall was actually a correct wall. So, if I actually were a contestant on is this a wall or is it not, I would have been out as I went all in on it not being a proper wall. Astrea would still be in. He's the one that created the wall, and it was a correct wall. This is going to be a gas first here, out of our American Protoss player, who's up 1-0 in this best of 7 after a pretty clean game number 1. Nice build order, poor response out of sudo. It just has to be said. I always, whenever I look at these types of things, I always try to understand the mindset of the player that is making a mistake in my mind, right? Like, we can have a difference of opinion on unit compositions, on build orders, on decision making as well. Often I have full information and the players do not. But in my mind, in that last game, soO made some mistakes that I can't really find good reasons for. I understand why he would open with a fast +1 on melee. This is very common right now. It is good against these gateway styles, like the 8-10 gate with Mass Stalker into Zealot. Like, having fast +1 melee upgrades is going to be absolutely fantastic against that. However, starting the +2 on the melee and not throwing down a Roach Warren, attacking fairly late into a Hive, lowish worker count, all of these things I don't really get them, because it was fairly obvious that he was not going to be capable of killing his opponent on layer attack. It was fairly obvious that Astrea was going to move out at some point with a 4-6 carrier push as well. Like, these are pretty standard old school builds that were extremely common pre-Queen nerf, pre-Void Ray nerf. I was just a little bit confused as to why everything was happening. It could just be that soO kind of got caught off guard and didn't interpret the scouting information he got correctly. But he saw the Archons and he saw the carriers. And he just continued going with the Ling Bane. I guess at some point you just kind of go, all right, I probably lost the game. Let me see if I can make this work anyway. But it always feels a bit like the sunk cost fallacy. You know, I'm already this far down into my poor unit composition. Let me just stick with it, despite knowing that it's not gonna work. And it ended up not working. Like, the fight wasn't close at all. If you're fighting 8 Archons with Ling Bane and there's 6 carriers above it, yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose every single fight. That's usually just what happens. That's what happened last game as well. So a bit confusing there. I really was a little bit confused. This time around, though, let's hope that soO can make it work. There's an Overlord popping out over here. Queens moving in. Making sure to spread some creep. Second creep tumor should start soon as well. You see the energy arriving at 25 right now on the Queen. No Adept on the map means that none of these creep tumors can actually get taken out. You have this little Z, the C from Zorro formation over here, where the Overlord can safely move on. There's actually something funky. It's not like an exact Z that you can fly with the Overlord. I believe you need to actually go something like this. There's something wonky about it. I can't quite recall what it is exactly. I saw a Reddit post about it at some point. I'll link this in the description if I remember. So most likely it's not in the description. I'm sorry for that. It is what it is. 4 Lings gonna make their way across the map, try and get this Ling. Will force a Pulsar Beam and get the Ling. Get the Ling, get the Probe. That's a very good start here for the Zerg player. It's just great to have that happen. If you... that costs like, what, 30 energy? And an even trade. 2 Lings are as expensive as a Probe. And I almost always much rather lose 2 Lings than lose a Probe. So overall, just a good trade here for soO. He's gonna immediately move over to the Watchtowers. Has good vision with the Overlords as well. I like this little, the ring of vision that he made around his base. This is going to make Queen movement extremely easy. 2 Queens in the main base. Third one is coming in. This drone could fall, but gets pulled away immediately. 3 Queens in the natural here. Actually attempting to surround the Oracles, it feels like almost. Really like the way how soO defended this. Now needs to be careful of these Adepts though. As these Adepts are moving in, it's going to allow Astrea to do a little bit more damage. With, well, just 2 ground units. 4 workers being taken out. No Lings in position whatsoever. No Lings on the map whatsoever. Ooh. A little bit of a missed target fire there, but 7 workers go down here. And now the 2 Oracles come in as well. 10 workers going to be taken out. Oh my god. This is a disaster here. 12 workers die. Oi, 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 oi. Oracles, they're coming in clutch in the end. A couple of Lings have been built, but majority has been droned. So, despite losing a lot of workers, we still see the worker count being somewhat even, somewhat close. However, similar follow-up here for Astrea, who is not going to get scouted as he took out the Overlord on the high ground. He's once again sending out 2 Adepts. Can, of course, move through this area where there's no vision whatsoever. Double Oracle moving in once more. Where are we going? Where are we going? Ooh, we're just idling over here for now. Here come the Oracles. Can they get some damage done? I'm not so sure. There's no... Look at this oversaturation here on this base. That's kind of odd, isn't it? Slightly too late there with taking the gases. Which means that it's going to have 27 workers. 30 workers here. Look at that oversaturation. At the same time, these 2 Adepts will be taking out some workers at the 3rd base location. Oracles make their way in towards the main, where once again there is no Spore. No Spore in the natural either. And Queens might be caught out of position. 9 more workers going down here. 21 workers have fallen in 6 minutes. That averages 5 workers a minute. No, that's not how math works. I'm an idiot. I was like at 30 workers and it did the math and I had divided by 6. That sounds like 5 to me. Alright, I'll just stop talking for now. It average about 3.5 workers a minute. I think slightly less. It's a little bit embarrassing. It is what it is. It is what it is. Why is this oh so difficult? Overlord's gonna get taken out here by these 2 carriers. I don't quite think that soO was ready for it. 1 Queen gets taken out immediately. Losing DPS can be quite bad. There's only a single Spore here as well. Often we see a second Spore being pulled in, but there actually is no second Spore right now. With all the Queens being here defending, these 2 Oracles, if they were to hit the main base, without the Spore being available there, could actually be somewhat big Interceptors will take out another queen. 4 queens have fallen so far, but all the interceptors are also disappearing. 68 workers against 66. And for a second game in a row, I feel like this is doing way too much. We do not have carrier 3 and 4. No, we do. We already have carrier 3 and 4 out right now. We have +1 on the way. We have, well, for both things really. Hive is being started very quickly. I like that. We see roach speed as well. And we don't see +2 on the melee upgrades. But so many things have died here in the early game that I almost feel like it's impossible for soO to come back into this. 4 carriers will just start moving across the map. And what is here defensively? Well, 4 queens with some transfuses. Transfuses once again not being used. Now we'll see them being used, but the queen has already gone down. There's not enough spores here. I think this game is over. I just don't think there's anti-air. GG gets called. Astrea 2 times with the same build. This time around, that was mainly because of that harass. 21 workers went down initially. And then the carriers, well, they deal with the queens and just straight up win the game. No corruptors in production, nothing. GG gets called, and Astrea also wins game number 2. And from game number 2, we hop into game number 3 immediately. That means we're going to be having a look here at Cosmic Sapphire. The beauty of best of 7s is that we get to see every single map played, as long as no one wins 4-0 or 4-1 or 4-2. As long as we go all the way in the best of 7, we also go all the way with the maps, which means that we get to see some maps that usually we perhaps wouldn't see. I'm thinking Stargazers mainly. It's going to be a sick map, of course. Stargazers. I might see some waterfall action as well. Usually a map that a lot of Protoss players want to veto. Get to see inside and out, tropicals, well, basically every single map in the map pool. I can name them all, but I don't want to. What is this, by the way? Some magic grass. It's like magic mushrooms, but trust me, this is a way more intense high than magic mushrooms ever will give you. You eat some of this grass, you'll be tripping for days. That's why overlords look so funky. They fly over this crap a couple of times and just the fumes gets them to another level. Lots of that magic grass over here. Phew. Mad stuff. Alright, a couple of drones on the way. Hatchery first as well. Did not manage to get the block off. Must have been a 15 hatch then, or actually Cosmic Sapphire is relatively large, so could have also just been, well, not a 16 hatch. Not a 15 hatch, just a 16 hatch would be fine. Is this a wall or is it not? Yeah, it is. Oh. Why is it so difficult for me to see it today? It feels like there's a lot of space here. Almost feels like there's 2 units worth of space. I know it's not the case. It's one Adept will surely plug this hole, right? Surely. Right, guys? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not so sharp today. I'm not so sharp. I thought 21 divided by 6 was 5. I completely messed up the call on the first. Okay, now this is definitely well. Never mind. I said nothing once again. Good lord. We're really not feeling it today, huh? It's unbelievable. Adept is going to get Chrono Boost. Just fast warp gate here. Astrea switching gears. Saying, hey, the Stargate play has been fun, but right now we're going to open up with the Twilight Council. soO spots that immediately, sees the fast warp gate, and knows what that means as an experienced Zerg player. Now, we're going to pay attention here to some of the gas mining. That's the only thing that's going to matter in the next 10 seconds anyway. If we see these probes pull away, we're calling a 3 or 4 gate glaive build. There we go. It's going to be 3 or 4 gate glaive. Workers pulling away. And if we wouldn't have seen that, most likely it would have been 2-gate DT drop, one of Astrea's favorite builds. And I'm expecting to see that as well in this best of 7, at least once. Most likely on Waterfall, it's his favorite map to play it on. So I do believe that we're going to see it on that map, most likely. Robotic facility being created, and we'll have another Adept starting soonish. You want to start the Adept before the Warp Gate research hits 70 out of 100. Because then it finishes before Warp Gate research finishes. An Adept takes 30 seconds exactly. So yeah, he started it just in time. That means that the moment this Adept finishes, the gateway will immediately start morphing into a Warp Gate. 4th gate also gets built right now. 2 more gates on the way. So we're going to be hitting with a initial warp in of 3. 2 Adepts already there. 5 at another warp in of 4, because these gateways are well timed. It's going to be a 9 Adept timing that Astrea is planning on hitting, and it will hit pretty sharp as well. It's a good build order that he's using here. I really like this one specifically. It cuts a bit into your tech timing. It really does, because you're warping in so many darn Adepts. So darn many Adepts. But that's okay. Yeah, it's going to be 9 Adepts here. Observer immediately behind this as well. Then we'll have to wait and see exactly what timing he's going to be hitting. Usually I say if you hit at 420 with 9 Adepts, you're feeling real good about yourself. Or yeah, when your warping starts at 420, it's a little bit late. Final Adept started at 424 here. The Resonating Glaive's about to finish up. There's actually nothing here yet. It's going to be pure Ling defense for now. Baneling Nest has not finished up yet. Is there an Evo Chamber? Why is he going for a Ling Bane defense in the first place? Not so sure. What's the Queen count? We're at 6. A 7th Queen is about to pop out as well. We get another 3-4 warp-in over here. Pylon is a little bit late here for Astrea. Still does not have tech. Third base not on the way either. We can now see a pickup in towards the main. And as Banelings are about to finish up, I do not think that Glaive Adept attack is going to deal too much damage. You see the Prism moving in towards the main. Wants to get a warping going, but not in range of the Queen. Surely that's a mistake. Immediate cancel here. Queens are going to be cornered a little bit, and Astrea realizes that. It's going to start moving in. One transfuse is going to keep that Queen alive for a bit longer, but not for long enough, as it does end up dying. Nexus is on the way right now. We see 2 Adepts being picked up, and we still have 12 Adepts here on the low ground. No defensive forces here whatsoever, and there's some real potential here for a counterattack. Banelings are going to be connecting with a lot of these Adepts, and Lynx will clean up. At the same time, these 2 Adepts in the main base are dealing some big damage. When I say big damage, I mean 2 worker kills. Huge damage. Getting a couple more here, actually. 5 on 1, and what was it? Maybe 6-7 kills total on these bad boys. At the same time, though, big run by heading over towards this third. There's really not all that many units. Glaive Adepts are great, especially when they're choked up. Battery is not quite done yet. Nexus isn't done. And there are Banelings out on the map. There really is some potential here. I think Astrea might actually be lucky that soO decided to not hold down the Ling button. Otherwise, he could be in some trouble. Or actually, maybe it was the correct call here out of soO, after all. I mean, an Immortal, couple more warp-ins, well spread out Adept. Yeah, definitely was the correct call. Astrea is probably not going to be happy that he didn't hold down the Ling button. So otherwise he would have been further ahead in eco. Follow-up is going to be an Immortal, and a second Immortal, and perhaps after that even a third Immortal. That would bring the total up to 3 Immortals. If you build 3, usually you have 3 at the end. That is indeed how it works. Roach Warren behind this. What is this crap? Are these safety roaches, or? That's the problem if you defend with Ling Queen, is that if you lose all your Lings, then the Adept follow-up can actually be kind of scary. You probably need to build some roaches. A couple of Banes being warped, or being morphed. More Adepts coming in as well. Second Immortal making its way across the map. 59 workers here for Astrea. Astrea is killing his opponent while being up in income, while being up in worker count. Would love to see a Forge behind this, by the way. Would love it. Absolutely adore it. Former Adept being warped in, double gases. We're going to Templar Archives from here. Templar Archives Blink. This type of setup is not completely uncommon. Good split off with 2 Adepts as well. Good control in general out of Astrea. His decision making and the way that he takes fights is absolutely fantastic. Hey, soO is once again just completely dead. This game is uber over right now. 65 workers against 43. Unless Astrea loses every single Adept for free and then basically lets his Prism die as well. This is the only way I can see him lose at this point. More Immortals are in production. 10 workers have gone down, 11 workers have gone down. soO pulling away the defensive units as this Adept get a couple more drone kills. Immortals do need to be picked up at some point, but I mean, once that happens, there's no real possibility for a counterattack here for soO. Astrea is getting a Robo Bay already. I am not sure if I like the Robo Bay more than I would have liked the Templar Archives, but with Blink, the current Immortal count that he has, and then incoming Disruptors, I'm having a really difficult time seeing Astrea lose this. Way up in workers. Could take a 4th base, but doesn't need to, and probably isn't going to. The reason for that is fairly simple. If your opponent is on an all-in army, on an all-in eco, why would you take a 4th base and expose yourself to probably the only thing that could work right now here for soO? Yeah, soO can't attack into this either. I mean, there's a battery, which can turn into an overcharged battery. Ooh, that Prism is important. Prism's actually important. That's the one thing that no, that you really can't afford to lose here. Not with these Immortals in it, at least. If you just lose the Prism and the Immortals get to teleport home, it's okay. Yeah, fort base is going to match up in timing with the fort base of soO. And this is after the extra gateways have been added. I think that was the correct call. Sometimes you might see a Protoss take a fort base here on 4 gates. And I'm kind of happy that that didn't happen. I'd actually follow this up. Got 1 disruptor for safety. Now it's getting a Templar Archives. So he's playing this extremely safe. That is giving soO maybe the chance of getting back into the game. Maybe. Maybe. We have an Infestation Pit. I think that is a very solid call here out of soO. Wants to be getting into Vipers ASAP, of course, to deal with all of these high-value units. Like the Immortals, the Disruptors. A great way to deal with those usually is to get a couple of Vipers out. Then the Banelings take care of the rest. Melee upgrade level 1 on the way. So upgrades are somewhat even. And Astrea played this kind of passive here. And that is completely fine. But it did allow soO to get a supply count. You know, a supply count where he can maybe win a fight. There's some Ravagers here, which can delay a move out. There's no Baneling speed yet, but it will be there before the next push. Astrea is just going to camp for a little bit. I mean, he's mining 8 gases. Just really not in a hurry. If you're a Protoss player and you're teching into 8 gases and you're getting a lot of units that are good in the mid to late game phase, kind of the pre-Brood Lord, pre-Ultra, pre-late game Lurker phase, and your opponent isn't getting any of these high tier units, you usually don't really want to fight, because your army is getting so much better, while your opponent's army, well, quite frankly, is getting worse. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen here. Right now, this is going to be Ravager Ling Bane. soO needs to fight, and soO most likely needs to fight into an Astrea defense setup. And that's not going to work out. 2 Disruptors doing their job. Banelings will not get the connections that they wanted. Get 2 probes only. I believe that was 4 Banes. So not a very cost-efficient trade there. And you do want to get some cost-efficient trades if you're down in the worker count and have been down in eco overall. Storm being researched, +2 on the way as well. Range upgrade. So I'm guessing this is going to be kind of an... Ooh. Oh my... What? Just killed 2 of his own Archons there. In what we could definitely call a massive blunder. I was gonna say, I think we're gonna stick on a Ravager Ling Bane comp for a little bit longer. In that case, we probably do want to see Adrenal Glands. Big Warping in the main base as well, soO not completely ready for it. Did see the Prism fly in, but no response whatsoever. Is going to end up losing a bunch of workers here for free before he gets to do any type of response. Adrenal Gland starts before the Hive gets taken out. I was gonna say, you might want to build some structures now. Whether that's gonna be an Ultra Cavern or your Adrenal Glands doesn't really matter too much. Another Zealot Warp in here feels like perhaps a bit of a waste, especially because at the same time Astrea isn't doing anything. So this is a distraction, but it's just a distraction of soO's thoughts. Like, it's not like it's a distraction and boom, sniping 10 workers here. No, it's just like, oh, this is annoying to deal with. I can send my entire army there and then deal with the rest. 2 Vipers are being produced right now. And soO is still behind. Don't get me wrong. There's 95 workers here for Astrea. But once Vipers are out and you're on Ravager Ling Bane, things are possible. Not likely that they're going to actually happen. Like, I don't think that soO is going to win a fight anytime soon. But you could maybe hold. You could maybe hold for a little longer. Of course, the next step here for our Korean Zerg player should be perhaps a Spire, maybe an Ultra Cavern. I actually wouldn't like an Ultra Cavern if there's four Immortals out already. So I'm actually kind of Team Spire here right now. The question, of course, is going to be, is soO also going to be Team Spire? Hive will get targeted down here. Poof. Gets blasted, and now we do have a move out here out of Astrea. This is a small looking army though. So a lot of muscle in here, but it's compact. You have a Zealot run by towards the left side as well. Just right clicking Hexes. Like a pocket of safety here around the Zealots with the Sand. Ah, this is not it. That was absolutely not it. Astrea knew that wasn't it as well. Like, let's not kid ourselves here. Astrea knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing. This did actually give soO a bit more map control than I would have liked Astrea to give soO in these type of scenarios. There's +2 on the melee. There's 35 Banes. We have 2 Vipers as well. Storms will need to hit. That's just going to be a fact. Storms will need to hit. They're going to hit for now. There's a lot of Archons in this. So, okay, never mind. I guess soO's not going to fight into this, right? There's just no way. Left side attack, I mean, we'll clear cannon here and there, but one warpin is going to clean this up eventually as well. There's plenty of cannons on top of that. Once again, a pure Lingbane army against 8, 10 Archons with a crap ton of storms. I think it's going to be 3-0 here. I think this is going to be 3-0, and Astrea with a dominant performance in this best of 7 so far. Absolutely dominant performance. +3 finishing up in 50-ish seconds. Would not recommend waiting for it. Would not be the end of the world either. And the way that Astrea kind of approaches matchup often is that he throws away Zealots while increasing his gas unit count. And I really like that way of playing. It makes a lot of sense, right? The more gas units in your army, the better your army often is. And oh boy, does he have a powerful army right now. +3 is about to finish up. We have a bit of a counter-attacker coming out of soO. We'll take out 1 base and 24 workers. At the same time, so also going to lose a base and a bunch of workers. At least I can only imagine a bunch of workers will go down. At least if Astrea cares about that. Gonna have a bit of a Zergling flank. This Raptor's going to get caught out of position, which means that roaches get a little bit better. But there's only 5 roaches and there's still 5 immortals as well. Blinding clouds are going to be used. It's not going to be enough though here, is it? See a couple more feedbacks. Immortals might fall, but the Archon force is just a little bit too big. One more Zealot Warping will do it. Even without the Zealot Warping, it will do it. 3-0 in favor of Astrea. That brings us to game number 4 here in this best of 7, and we see a switch up coming out of Astrea as he sends his first probe straight away across the map. And that means that it could be for proxy gate, proxy gates, proxy gates with a forge, proxy forge with a gate, proxy gates with a cyber core. It could be many things. Okay, this is the... I'm not sure whose build this is, but I've come to know it as the Christianer build. Because Christianer played this against my Zerg once. I want to say it was Christianer. You put 2 gateways on the bottom of your ramp, and then you add in a forge for a full wall. Then you cannon rush your opponent. With gateways and zealots and that type of stuff. Now, the this is even cooler. Oh boy, that is kind of sick. soO's going to scout it though, isn't he? Whoop! Spots the first gate, spots the second gate, and number 3. Okay. Now, the correct response against this, I think, is to give up your natural and to get a Roach Warren. Double gas, spine in the main, queen over here as well. Do you cancel your hatch? That's a good question. I don't actually have the answer for it. Maybe you don't? I don't actually know. We'll see what soO decides to do. It's always interesting because Zerg players... Surely there is one response that is perfect, but Zerg players don't have one response to these type of things. Many players have different responses. It's the same against Cannon Rush. Some people pull 12, 13, 14 drones. Others have like some Roach Ravager type of bust, and then other players like playing Niduses as well. Okay, 6 links, no Roach Warren. It seems that the natural base is just being ignored right now. No Roach Warren on the way, which means that these Zealots aren't really in a hurry to do anything either. Like, it's nice if they get some kills, but they're not forced into it. Can't get surrounded. That's the one thing that is extremely important. This Zealot might actually get surrounded here. Astrea's actually... Yeah, this is bad for Astrea, I think. Or is it? No. It's gonna move very well here. Some really good movement. Starts attacking the pool. Surely that is a mistake. Not really be fine. I think Astrea might accidentally be winning this. Needs to pull the drones here to try and drill some of these Zealots down. Queen in the main base is definitely helping out. Queen in the natural should be capable of dealing some damage against these reinforcing Zealots. These 2 in the main will end up falling. 11 workers here for soO against the 17 of Astrea. Queen in the natural gets taken out as well. What's the link count currently? The link count is 11 against 2 Zealots. That should be plenty. There's no real follow-up behind this though. We have a gas being thrown down. We already have a gas mining. Cybernetics core being thrown down right now. But these Zealots, the moment they pop out, they're just going to get killed here by the links. More links are in production. More Zealots are also in production, though. These guys, they pack a punch, don't they? Them good old Zealots. soO mined 136 gas, which hasn't been used until this point. One Zealot popped out on the other side, on you could say the wrong side. Now, there is something here that could happen. So the one thing that soO could do is he could damage every single gateway and then kill all of them at the same time. He could also do it like this and just clear these 2 zealots and then kill the pylon and win the game, I guess. I actually kind of prefer the way soO did it here. He's going to surround this zealot as well. Get a very low worker count. 2 adepts on the way. If the adepts actually come out, that could be big. If any of the adepts come out, that could be huge. Stargate is being produced at home right now, but there's still a natural, and that's a game changer. Was this a solid response? I'm not sure. Did it win? Yes. And now the score is 3-1. And with a 3-1 score, here we are on Waterfall, map 5. I've mentioned it before. Waterfall is a map that I find very interesting. It is one of the maps that Astrea is one of the only tosses who doesn't usually veto it. But because this is a best of 7, well, vetoes are pretty irrelevant. Because they're going to be playing every single map. He has one build that he tends to play on this map, and that is the 2 DT drop. He's very keen on it. Very, very keen on it. Ooh. Gets a block on the initial hatch, then pretended to follow the other drone, wanting to force another drone to be pulled from the main. It's not quite going to be the case here, look at that. 17 hatchery, you know, technically an 18 hatchery being thrown down for soO. Little bit painful here for the Zerg player. It's also gonna now have to deal with the mineral harass from Astrea, which is fairly good. So yeah, my prediction is that we're gonna see a 2-gate DT. 2-gate DT drop. This is a build that is considered to be not safe against a variety of build orders out of the Zerg. Think of Link Flood drone pool. Think of a Link Roach timing with like a single overseer. It's definitely a possibility against this build. You just have too little production. And DTs, once they're not invisible anymore, are not actually that great at defending things. Cybernetic score is fairly late. 141. 26 seconds. It's gonna finish at 216. That's really late, actually. 217 maybe even. That makes no sense. It's like legit 4 or 5 seconds late. He cancels something. 37 minerals. It's not a pylon. So either he must have misplaced the gate, the cyber core, and then rebuilt it at some point. I'm sorry, I missed that. But yeah, because of that, his initial unit is going to be 5 seconds late as well. So it's just something to note. It's not going to be what I said it was going to be. We're seeing a Stargate here. I guess Astrea learned from his mistakes. In the most recent GSL, he played this build in the final map against Armani and got drone pooled, link flooded and died. He played the 2-gate DT. Didn't work, died and got knocked out of GSL. And here on this time around, he's going to play, I think this was a warp gate into a Stargate. Yeah, Stargate takes 43 seconds. Warp gate already was 56 seconds in. So he's pretending that it is the exact same build order. And we'll see what the actual plan is going to be here for soO. It's kind of interesting. Double adepts are going to get semi-sacrificed. soO, once again, a really poor start for Astrea. Just like last game. This is not good. This really isn't good. Oracle's going to be forced to stay at home right now. Stalker is going to get attacked by these links, and Oracle will even need to force it will need to use the pulsar beam here. It is forced to use the pulsar beam here. And their immediate response out of soO. Very quick there on the buttons. And yeah, this one is being drained of energy right now. Links could come back in. We're going to need a full wall here. What an atrocious start here for our American Protoss player, who was momentarily there even in danger of losing that pylon until the Adept popped out. soO a little bit slow with pulling this Overlord away. He's now trying to bait some Stalker shots on those links to try and keep the Overlord alive. I really did like that call. I think that's correct. Ooh. Overlord, are you gonna make it out? I'm not so sure. More links are popping in right now. This could potentially worry Astrea a little bit. It should have maybe worried Astrea a little bit more. It's gonna lose a probe over here on the right side. Look at that control out of soO. Almost looked like he was capable of zooming out with that movement. Just controlling 2 groups of links so darn well over here. It's beautiful to see. I had to zoom out just to catch all of that. Is slightly oversupplied though. Too much capacity. Built too many overlords at once, so that's going to cut into his eco a little bit. Also built a crap ton of links here. And I don't believe we have an evo chamber yet. No, we do not have an evo chamber yet. So no quick +1 is in the works. Triple spore coming down all at the same time. Remembers the game on Data C, where he skipped 2 spores and well, struggled mightily against the Oracle harass. Lair on the way. This is a... Well, it's not actually that quick of a lair. I was going to say this is a quick lair, but it's not really that fast. There's just nothing else before it. Wait, did he just start Buro? 2 more gases as well here. And an evo chamber going down all in front of these oracles. Oracle could be in a bit of danger. Will fly away. Almost no damage dealt though. The only one dealing damage right now is soO to himself, who's lost, well, a bit of mining because he built a crap ton of links. I'm going to try and go first around here on the Adept. This is going to be a trade, but not a very efficient trade. I'm quite sure why he's doing that. It makes fairly little sense. I have to wait and see what's going to be. Okay, it's still going to be a melee upgrade here for soO. So still wants to go into these powerful links. Much would have preferred seeing a faster evo chamber in that case. Oracle getting taken out. Sloppy play. Astrea falling apart a little bit here in the early game. Really falling apart a little bit. We now have some roaches in production. soO is already on 67 workers. Late 4th. 66 workers while on 5 gas means we're seeing oversaturation on at least one of the bases. Yeah, slight oversaturation. It's not huge. Macro hatch being thrown down as well on the main base here. As we have a fort base on the way for Astrea currently. Forge will go down as well. As our American toss makes his way across the map. And oh boy. What's he going to be capable of doing here across the map? Well, not much. Seems like this is going to be a forced recall. Blink wasn't done yet. 1, 2... 2 stalkers will end up falling and a recall gets wasted. So that's another 50 energy. These stalkers might get surrounded as well. There's only a single oracle still remaining. If these links had +1, this game might have just been straight up over. But because they do not, Astrea gets to live. To die another day, perhaps. +1 not done. Second, an oracle has been rebuilt here, right? Yeah, first oracle went down. So this is the rebuilt oracle. Could continue building more oracles as he scouted Ravager, or he scouted Roachling Bane. And against Roachling Bane, adding in more oracles often is the correct call. When I say often, I think it's always the correct call. It grants you a lot of map control, a lot of potential harass as well when 5th and 4th bases are being built for a Zerg player. Zerg players are forced to keep all of their queens together, which means that spreading creep among the edges is going to be a little bit harder. The more oracles there are, that tends to be the case at least. It seems like Astrea wants to play something else as he takes 8 gas. So we're not going to be seeing an active Stalker Zealot move out army. Just cancel the gases. So, okay. Believes he's being all-in, I think. Throwing down these cannons. Canceling gases to throw down cannons. Oh my god, lose another Oracle. Doesn't even get the Revelation off. This game has been painful to witness here. If you're an Astrea fan. Or if you like Protoss players. Or if you like Americans. Or if you like people whose name starts with an A. Then it's been a painful game to watch this. It really has been. Still no extra gases. This is an 8 gas style that is being played off of 6 gas. Camping. Astrea truly believed that he was going to be under siege in the near future. And he was incorrect. And that sucks. Because that means he's going to have way less gas than he should have. It's going to cost him 200 to 300 gas there. The latest simulators. soO's just getting into hive already. Astrea's now going to spot the infestation bit. Like, oh my god. I can't believe that happened. Oracle's going to fall. That's the 3rd Oracle that gets taken out. And Astrea's going to be proper confused here as to what's going on. My control really that poor in this game? Yes, it has been. Despite some really good control in the previous games. Of course, that doesn't really carry over into the next game. It's not something that you can keep. This is not World of Warcraft. If you level a skill once, that you'll have it forever, my friend. Every single game is new. Baneling's gonna run into, well, I was gonna say into their death, but well, they are gonna die. But they also take some other units with them. No +2 yet here on these Banes, which means that a single connection is not going to kill too many workers. Batteries do get taken out though, and there's some potential even for this Nexus dying at this point. Roach is in the back, dealing some damage. Banelings get sent in, and indeed the port base is going to get cleared here. 80 workers are still alive though. 81 workers still alive even. Double Nexus going down currently for Astrea, who's expanding towards the right side. I don't quite think he can hold that. Roaches pop back in. We'll get another cancel here on this Nexus. This +2 now finishes up. Adrenal Glands also on the way. These links with +2 actually could deal some damage. Not going to try to deal with these Archons. Too many cannons, I think, for their liking. Empathize with that decision. Ultra Cavern would be a possibility here. It's also completely possible that soO just wants to stay on this army with Ravager Ling Bane, just going to hive for the Adrenal Glands. Adrenal Glands is a massive upgrade when it comes to damage output. Fort base once again is going to get cancelled. That's the second cancel after killing it once. Right side base also got cancelled. Banelings rolling in right now, nothing in position. Do get a couple of warpins here with Stalkers, but they're going to be taken out. Banelings get the connections that they want, or well, close to the connections that they want. As 15-ish workers will end up falling here. 13 to be exact. We have +3 on the way. Still no tech here for soO, who's now up in supply. He's up 2 bases. Up in workers. Way better upgrades as well. 2-1 versus currently only +2. Yeah, this just looks fantastic here for soO. It absolutely does. It's going to move in once more. Storm hasn't quite finished yet. And even if it had, these Templar do not have the energy available to throw it down. Will be forced to morph into an Archon. I think this is gonna be game, or this is going to be the lead-in to game. Yeah, GG calls Astrea. soO wins game number 5 and is getting pretty darn close to tying up the series. Here we go, game number 6 on a Stargazers. And Stargazers known as the map on which Protoss players simply do not lose. Also a map on which it's easy to hide your intentions, and it's very easy to hold a third base as well. Your first 3 bases are practically free. So it is possible here that we see the return of Astrea to those carrier builds. I liked the carrier builds, and they have been very good so far. I think it was on Data C where we saw the good harassment with the Adept Oracle into the carrier push winning the game. And on Moondance, the carrier Archon push winning the game. So it's been played twice and it won twice as well. This time around, Astrea once again opening up with a gas first, so a no scout. He did that once before. I can't quite recall which map it was though. I want to say it was Data C, but I could be incorrect on that. Second cybernetics core. First cybernetics core is going to be built. Unlike last game, we're not gonna see a cancel on that. I don't think so, at least. Pylon here on the far edge. You immediately see some minerals are being mined. Oh, I like this move. This is very cute. Just using the timings. He's gonna build a Stargate, which will be fairly close to his opponent's main base. So this is not a proxy Stargate, but it is in closer proximity of his opponent's base. On top of that, he also uses the time in which he was idling to take some minerals and go back. And now he's just gonna go away. So this is just a one-time thing. Does not want to lose too much mining time. Says, hey, I'm just gonna build that Stargate there, and if I'm going there anyway, might as well use it to mine some of these minerals away from my potential third base. Good move here out of Astrea, and I like this type of optimization in the early game. I'm a very big fan of it, personally. Now, we have a hatchery being built here on the third base location for soO, pulled completely out of gas. And we'll have to wait and see what Astrea's plan is going to be. Ooh, cancel the Stalker. And starts the Zealot. As a result, has enough gas to immediately start the Oracle up. We'll end up cancelling this most likely eventually. Because you don't actually want the Zealot. Zealots suck. Useless unit. Yep. I think the Zealot will be cancelled and we'll see a quick base being built here. Nice! Same build that we saw on Moondance. The exact same opener here. Once again with that cancel on the Stalker, which also happened back then. Second Oracle could start immediately on top of that. Yep, there we go. We do need to get a pylon at this point. It is fairly important to get a pylon in the wall. This definitely is a wall. Could still later fill this up with a gate, although I believe there's still going to be a hole on the bottom side in that case. Or on the top side, depending where you put the gate, of course. Twilight! Okay. Now this is a... I don't want to call this a mind game, because it's not really a mind game, right? It's just a switch up. Basically, he showed this exact same build order opener on Moondance, and then went into the 2 carrier rush. This time, though, it's going to be with a very fast Twilight. Might decide to follow this up with a glaive attack. I would not mind that. It's that type of glaive attack that can sometimes just completely catch your opponent off guard. If you haven't played it at all yet, like the only glaive build we've seen was a straight up glaive build with a Twilight first, no Stargate units. So this type of glaive attack could really catch his opponent off guard. Could also just still be charge or blink. Of course, the more standard options here. 3 more gates on the way. Gonna see blink. Okay. So pretty standard opener here then. Pretty standard opener, just with a faster third base and with that gas first, which allowed for quick Oracle production. Did not really pay off yet though. So far has killed 0 workers. Might have taken out a creep tumor. Yeah, 2 creep tumors have been taken out. It's a pretty easy map to defend on though. And the Watchtower makes it so darn simple to spot all the movement of the Oracles if you take this forward third. There's only a single queen here right now though. So that's pretty up. 3 workers will end up falling against the flying bad boys. The green boys. This kind of always what I thought alien ships would look like. Like spaceships. Kind of like this. I'm not sure why, but you don't really see this type of thing in science fiction too much, do you? Usually they're a little bit more streamlined. I guess this isn't very streamlined, is it? Lots of air resistance. Alright. How are these 2 oracles doing? Well, not much of anything. 3 worker kills, 4th base being taken at 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. I like it, personally. I am a fan of it. I really am. Forge being built after the Nexus, I think this was. 16... Yeah, slightly after the Nexus. 6 seconds after the Nexus. And this map has, of course, a very... Do we call it interesting? Important? Kind of a map-defining feature here. These 2 mineral patches, which are blinkable. You can blink on top of them. So you can put some pressure on this general area. Maybe take out an Overlord, clear some creep, put a stasis ward down there. But at the same time also pressuring this bridge. It's a really scary area for Zerg to have to deal with. In both Terran versus Zerg, as well as Protoss versus Zerg. 2 oracles popping in right now will spot the Spire. This is a big read. Very nice read here. What do you respond with, though, at this point? What do you respond with if you are Astrea? Do you go into pure Stalker? Do you want to build some Phoenixes? I think Phoenixes still are a good call here. Might want to get a battery per mineral line as well. There's just not that many workers for soO, so this is going to be like a one-time thing. There's no 8 gas, it's going to be done of 6 gas. We might see a roach follow-up from it. So you want to kind of see what's popping out of the X right now. It's extremely important. Look how many links there are and look at the upgrades. We have +1 on range. No, he cancelled it. What? Oh, that was a mistake. That was non-intentional. Oh no, soO. Poor feller. Yes, okay. My +1 is almost done. And he checks how much longer and sees that he accidentally researched range. I'm pretty sure that was a mistake. Otherwise you don't cancel it. Because it was pretty obvious he didn't want to build any roaches whatsoever. 15 mutas are popping out right now. We have 1 Phoenix on the map already. Double Forges are also researching. 8 gas is going to be the name of the game here. Just a cannon, no battery, means that these Phoenixes will still be vulnerable. Despite being good against mutas, they can quite easily die. And once Stalker gets picked off here, these Stalkers will perhaps teleport to a different dimension. Over the little... the mineral gateway. 8 gas is now mining here for soO. It's going to be moving into mass mutalis. That could mean we'll get an entertaining game. It could also mean we'll get a base trade of a game. So the main priority right now for Astrea is not dying, not taking any major damage, keeping his 4th base alive. You do not want to be engaging into a 5th right now. You do not want to go to a 5th base. It is not all that important. Revelation on these mutas would have been good, so you can spot their patterns before they kill your cannons and your batteries. Here the Phoenixes come in. Oracles defensively are going to be great as well, of course. There's a lot of Stalkers, I think, somewhere else. Yeah, there we go. Over in that third. I love this defensive setup, though, out of Astrea, saying, hey, I don't need to chase you around. I just have a couple of units in correct positions. As long as you don't have Banes, I don't think you can actually bust me. We now see 8 more Corruptors being constructed as well. And with 8 Corruptors, perhaps who can actually start fighting these Phoenixes head on. It's 21 Mutas right now against 5 Phoenixes. We see any Impulse Crystals on the way as well, which is also known as the Phoenix range upgrade. Fantastic upgrade. It's really going to help against the Mutalisks. +2 on the way already for Mutas as well. Means they'll pack quite a punch. One more Muta on the danger of dying. Very dangerous zone there. How many Mutas do we have? 20 Mutas, 7 more on the way. 8 Corruptors as well. So how you want to use the Corruptors here is pretty simple. You push away the Phoenixes with the Corruptors. And then with your Mutalisks, you just kill everything on the ground. If there's not enough static defense and not enough ground defense either, this is a very viable way to play. If there is Stalkers in position and they can snipe the Corruptors, it's less of a viable way to play. The Stalkers, it is usually quite important in these situations that they take out the Corruptors, because the Mutas already have a counter in the Phoenixes. So if you take out the Corruptors, then the Mutas can't really do anything. If you just kill a bunch of Phoenixes, or if you just kill a bunch of Mutas, then there's still Corruptors that can kill your Phoenixes. Doesn't help too much. And the Impulse Crystals really is going to be of big use here for Astrea. Yeah, this is plenty of Stalkers here in the natural. Or the third base, I think it was. Stalker for a Muta, Stalker for a Muta. I'm completely okay with that. 7 Stalkers have gone down so far, 13 Mutas have died. We do see the Baning Speed on the way right now. Centrifugal Hawks. So we have the +2 melee upgrade coming in. Should have probably already been done, but because of some early game mistakes, it's barely just starting. 21 more Banes on the way. Now, without Centrifugal, you can't go in here. It's not possible, I don't think so, right? Su disagrees, is gonna go in. Super Battery can be activated. Has already been used. Baneling's actually getting a lot of damage done here. Stalkers severely out of position at this point. Are there still some Banelings alive in this composition? I see one. It's not going to be enough to kill all of these workers, but some Lings are actually doing a decent job at that. Muta's now going over as well to take care of them bad boys. Stalkers stay alive, but 14 workers will go down. 6 Phoenixes still here as well. The Corruptor count is too little, which probably means that these Phoenixes can chase these Mutas at least for a little bit. And in that type of chase, I think you're just going to lose practically every single Muta right now. Oi, 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 oi. There we go. 1 Muta extra is going to get taken out. Good control here on the Phoenixes out of Astrea. As he's going to keep moving forward. 9 Phoenixes out on the map with +1. No armor upgrades whatsoever for the Spire player. Here's getting his first armor upgrade. Big Ling run by though. Trying to get in towards a 5th or towards a natural base even. We'll cancel this 5th immediately. As Astrea is still in the process of rebuilding workers. I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. What happened to the Phoenixes? Okay, 10 Phoenixes still here. I really wouldn't mind if with the Phoenixes you just kind of stay around the Muta Corruptor force. So you can continuously kind of punish them for being out of position or being somewhere. Uh-oh! Seems like Astrea is the one that got punished here. Loses 2 Phoenixes immediately. It's about to lose a 3rd one as well. At the same time, big run by heading in towards the natural. Now moving in towards the main. There is 1 cannon there. Not so sure if that is going to be enough. Muta Corruptor trying to deal damage over here at the 3rd base. Well, at the same time, we still have these Lings running around. Not so sure who's winning this actually. It's a really close game. It is extremely close. Astrea is struggling defending here over on the 3rd base. There's just so many Corruptors. But now more Stalkers are going to start moving in. Which means that the Muta count is going to fall. And hopefully the Corruptor count as well. There's still a lot of supply for Astrea, which is somewhat important. His worker count has fallen severely. But I don't think... Oh, I was going to say, I don't think it's ever possible for soO to get air control again. As I say that, Astrea actually loses 4 or 5 Phoenixes. Making life a little bit harder. 61, 62 workers against 81. 5th base, another cancel. 5th base at this point is becoming somewhat important. These Zealots are going to end up dying, but they might kill a queen or 2. That's not going to be worth it, surely. Yeah, more Lings streaming in as well. Yeah, this was not good. This was not good for Astrea. Losing a bunch of supply here. Once the definitely start setting up that 5th base as well at some point in the near future. And that point has arrived right now. Good upgrades on ground, good upgrades on air as well. We're still perhaps in a situation where a straight up engagement is not possible for soO. But soO does need to, but Astrea does need to be careful. Like if he gets an army split again, once again, this area difficult to defend. Mutas go in there. That's going to be rough. There's no stalkers in position right now. That means that this base most likely is just going to end up falling. Corruptors can definitely push this away for a long time. One Phoenix gets taken out. Second Phoenix in trouble. Here come the Stalkers. Will immediately get jumped by all of these Mutalisks. These 4 Stalkers will most likely end up falling. And 16 workers have gone down once again. Stalkers now blinking forward as we see some target fire on what actually? Well, I'm not so sure. Looks like there's no target fire at all. Mutas will get taken out. That's really not all that important. They're easily rebuilt. 10 more Mutas immediately on the way as soO remains maxed and seems to be in prime position to win this game. And after a terrible start going down 0-3, actually has the opportunity to tie up the series here. Mutas continuing to deal more and more damage as the Corruptors are cruising around the map. Muta Force will take out this Nexus. There we go. Bottom side base has finally been taken, but there were still some fresh patches in this base as well. So, yeah, definitely not great here for Astrea, who's now going to be stuck behind pylons with his Archons. No, you can walk through that. Good lord. My recognizing walling here has not been great today. Luckily Astrea's has been, because otherwise these Archons would have been stuck. Oop. Phoenix gonna get sniped there by the Mutas once again. We have more Phoenixes still here. Yeah, just gonna move back a little bit. Try to stay alive, but what's the point really, right? This game feels fairly over. 15 more workers get taken out. There's infinite money here. Infinite income for soO. We have a desperate counter-attack attempt. But I already said it is desperate. I don't see any chance of this working. I just don't see it happen. Full-on base trade is a possibility, but giving up a base and then defending future bases is also a real possibility. Just playing 4 versus 4 base. I mean, once you kill this army, the game actually ends. Here come the Banelings. We'll connect with, well, honestly everything here in the composition. 1 Archon with 2 HP remaining, with legit 1 HP remaining. I actually think the Mutas can just go for it and win the game. Yeah, there we go. 2 move in, Archons get taken out. Stalkers will get blasted as well, as we see drones transferring over towards the gold base. 48 workers right now for Astrea, while soO still at 74. He's going to be outmining his opponent in a big way, especially once the gold income starts streaming in. And yeah, this is actually just game. This is purely game right now. This is game like it's never been game before. Adrenal Glands finishing up, Ultras on the way. I am surprised that Astrea is staying in. Like, he has no army to speak of whatsoever. It's like 3.5 Phoenix, 1 Archon, 7 Zealots, and 5 Stalkers. I mean, just the Mutas by themselves could probably... Nah, couldn't kill it. The Archon and the Stalkers, but, you know, together are just pretty powerful. Ooh, Corruptors actually get caught here. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. There's Ultras about to pop in 3 seconds from now. 8 seconds from now. We have these upgrades coming in. soO is playing this out very patiently. There's no reason for him to rush this either. Like, he's completely outmining his opponent. His army is still increasing in size. It's still increasing in strength. Could still morph in like 20 Banelings as well to truly finish it. But yeah, this game has ended a couple of minutes ago. We're just going through the motions right now. Also known as the extended death animation that this Protoss player is going through currently. Gold mining. Bottom side base is being taken here for Astrea, but I don't think he's ever mined from more than 4 bases at the same time. Not at one point during this game. Initially losing that 5th wasn't so bad, but then, you know, it happens like 2-3 more times and life actually becomes pretty hard at that point. He's constantly trading out Stalkers as well. Never was in position to defend this base either, which ended up being a real issue. soO pushes in, and there's absolutely nothing to defend this. I am shocked that Astrea is staying in for this long. I actually am shocked. Confused. Then again, I'm confused fairly often. Earlier, 21 divided by 6 confused me. So, the bar there isn't very high. GG gets called. With 36 supply, Astrea decides to leave the game and gives soO the win. 3-3 score as we'll be heading into the final match. With both players here having taken 3 maps each, the score currently is 3-3 as we load it up in inside and out. And this best of 7 will go down to the final map here. Exciting stuff as we see a hatch block and a Twilight Council coming out of Astrea. The second time I believe he doesn't open up with a Stargate. First time was on... Good lord, what map was that? Was that Cosmic Sapphire? That was Cosmic Sapphire. Absolutely destroyed on that map, didn't he? Absolutely blasted soO on Cosmic Sapphire. Oi, 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 oi. Pure destruction that was, huh? Beautiful stuff. We'll see if he's gonna play the same build order here. Has not pulled out of gas yet. So I'm expecting... I am expecting a DT drop here. Second gate. Into DT drop. He messed up the wall. He actually messed up the wall. Yeah. Finally. This is not a great wall. This is a wall if the Stalker is in the wall, but if there's an Adept in the wall, it is not complete. So you're gonna want to build a second pylon next to it at some point, probably. Adept is doing his, decent job trying to scout. He's not gonna see absolutely everything, but try his best. He's gonna try and return back home. The moment metabolic boost finishes. Actually takes a little bit of hull damage here. 40 HP. No. For a second I thought that Adepts had 100 HP. That would be really sick. Oh my god, if Adepts had 100 HP. Imagine how good Glaive Adept attacks would be. I'd be playing that opener every single game. Holy crap, that would be powerful. Anyway. What do we have here instead? You have the 2-gate Dark Templar drop. So this is the one that I was talking about earlier. We do have another Adept coming in. Now there is a major tell, actually, in this build order for Astrea, which is, in my opinion, fairly funny. And that is that when he plays 4-gate Glaive, which has a similar setup, he'll have 5 Adepts. But if he plays 2-gate DT drop, he only has 4 Adepts. So there's a major tell in this build order, which allows the Zerg to basically know whether it's the DT drop or whether it's going to be the Glaive build. And I think that soO isn't quite aware of the tell, and also soO just hasn't prepared any defenses whatsoever. Oh my god, I think Astrea is giving too much respect to soO currently. Oh no, Astrea believes that soO had spores prepared. soO had nothing prepared. Absolutely nothing. This is like hosting a birthday party and not getting anything. No drinks, no cake, no chairs, nothing. Oi, 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 oi. How are you gonna have a birthday party without food, without drinks? soO somehow manages to make it work by bluffing. This is insane. If Astrea actually would have called the bluff and just walked in with the DTs, he could have killed 10, 9, 11, 13 workers. Any random number could have worked here. We have a couple of Adepts here at home, and there's no battery here. DT is going to help out for sure, but a couple of these gauge units will end up falling, which is slightly frustrating here for Astrea, I can only imagine. These 2 DTs are still alive. There's an observer with this, which will allow for creep denial as well. Now, I mentioned the follow-up before, and you can't actually do this if you lose all your links across the map. Feels like soO is actually planning on sending more links across the map, though. But one thing that you can do... Yeah, he is. Look at that. 14 more links. Yikes. Good luck getting anything done with those, mate. like 4 DTs rolling around over here. Picks up the probes in the prism. It's actually kind of cool. Cool way to save him. Although they weren't really under siege. Yeah, these links are not going to be capable of doing anything. I was going to say there's a cool way to beat this strategy. And that's by rushing into a lair. And then moving across the map with Ling Roach. Like 8, 9, 10 roaches basically. And 1 overseer. And then a bunch of links with it. Because the production from the toss with this is so extremely poor. You have very delayed 3rd and 4th gateway with this. Which means you don't have that many units. So if you have a couple of roaches and links and you can't get beaten by DTs, I'm pretty sure it's a free win. I don't think there's too much that TOS can do. Zerg can just move in between the natural and the 3rd base. If the TOS defends the 3rd base, you clear the production in the natural. If the TOS defends the natural, you just clear the probes in the 3rd and you're going to be fine. Very powerful push. Instead, what we see here out of soO is it's going to be a 4th base and a lot of roach production here coming out of a 67 drone Zerg. Blink is 75% done. potential for a follow-up push here. With a Disruptor Bay as well. Means that Disruptors are definitely a possibility. Double Archon drop. So far the creep denial has been good. But not a single creep tumor has gone down. I can't believe I get called out by my own unit's lost step there. Very nice. It would show up right on the unit's lost step, creep tumors usually, so not a single one has gone down. Yeah, there we go. Creep denial has been good though. Or at least there's not that much creep. A couple of Ravagers are being morphed in at this point. I don't think Astrea can continue pushing in here. Might even want to rotate this Prism in towards the main base and try to deal some damage there. Blink Stalkers could blink down here. Yeah, that was fine. I'm actually completely okay with that. Would have loved to see that rotation. We have some Disruptors in production. I mean, this is not gonna work. There's just too many Stalkers around. I don't even think a push here would work either for soO, honestly. The reason for that is the Disruptor, obviously. Disruptor is going to be such a help in taking out this type of army. Very roach-centric. Lots of Ravagers as well. Easy to hit. First Purification was actually not gonna hit anything. Good control there out of soO. I get a cancel here on the fort base. That would be painful if that happens. Second Purification Nova also fails. Archons are running low. Archons in these armies don't really synergize well with the rest. They're often too far in front, which is why I wouldn't have minded if they stayed on the other side of the map. soO's gonna continue pushing in right now, and he smells blood in the water, and the shark that he is, he's looking for meat right now, and he might actually end up finding it. Two Ravagers do get blasted there by the third Disruptor shot. Once again, a complete whiff there on that Purification Nova, but Stalkers are still trading quite well just by themselves. Super Battery got activated in the third base. Disruptor gets taken out. 17 workers dying as well here on the side of Astrea. 28, 29, 30 workers have gone down. soO with the comeback of a lifetime here. Game has not ended yet, but we're... Well, actually... It is 67 army supply against 98. We have one more Disruptor coming in. There's enough Stalkers here to get the surround going as well. Purification Nova is going to hit quite a few of these Ravagers. Purification Nova here hits just a single Roach, which is important. Stalkers trying to blink on top of this, and it seems like Astrea is going to survive indeed, but not with a great eco. More Roaches still streaming in as well. +2 hasn't quite finished yet for either player. Both players are indeed getting it. How many Disruptors do we have? 3 Disruptors. Link's now streaming in, but without upgrade should not be capable of getting too much done. Astrea holds with a big army and almost no workers. Can rebuild those workers, and probably needs to rebuild a fort base as well at some point in the near future. +2 has finished up. I think we might actually get a semi-successful counterattack here. If Astrea decides to target either the fort or the third base, that could be dangerous. But instead Astrea decides to just go back home. We have a Dark Templar warping in somewhere. Was that at the Prism? Yeah, was at the Prism. So we might see a single DT drop heading into a base, then getting picked up by the Prism eventually. More Disruptors are being constructed. Hive is still very far away. No infestation pit had started. There's not enough gas income either. We're only on 5 gases. And right now all that gas is being invested in, well, Links, Baneling speed, +2 melee as well, or +1 melee, sorry. DT indeed makes its way in towards the main base, takes out a couple of drones here. And, well, we'll have to wait and see exactly what Astrea is going to be capable of doing. But he wants to go into a macro game. Don't completely mind it. Although it did feel like there was an opportunity for a counterattack there. That counterattack would have been pretty all-in though. And that's the issue, I think, that Astrea had with it. Basically saying, hey, if I don't win with this counterattack or kill your fort base, I'm probably dead. There's a decent chance that you have enough units to just straight up kill me. And that can always be an issue. Of course, just straight up dying is never fun. Now, however, soO had the superior eco for a while and is pulling ahead in supply in a big way. 17 Banes are being morphed in, and once I think Baneling speed finishes up here, soO's gonna have a timing. Stalkers make their way towards the right side with Disruptors in there as well. Observer with it. Overseer gets sniped. Right click on this hatchery. Could clear the hatchery, then blink back. Instead we see some target fire on these Links. I think that might have been a small error of judgment there. A lot of what do you call it? Good lord. Overcompensating on that link there with all of those stalkers. Way too many shots. Now these disruptors are gonna get taken out, and we have a surround on these stalkers as well. This is just not quite going to work out for Astrea. Basically, they did a very delayed counterattack. And as a result, ended up losing a couple of disruptors. Purification Nova's not quite connecting with what they wanted to connect with. It is 4 base against 4 base, and workers have been dying on the side of soO, which puts soO in a position where perhaps the only option for him is going to be a Ravager Ling Bane attack. But at the same time, I think such an attack would be very successful. There is no major tanking force in here. There's going to be 2 Archons. A battery is on the way. But this is a Stalker Disruptor army. I don't know. Feels tricky in my mind, at least. A couple of Links and Bane over here on the right side. Overseer is finished as well. I think I saw 3 Overseers being morphed at some point. Yeah, we have 3 Overseers. 2 with this army, 1 on the right side. Should be plenty to deal with ETs. There's no Spore anymore in the main, though. Oh, no, never mind. It moved towards the left side. +3 is about to finish up, and soO simply does not have access to +3 currently. It's gonna go into Hive. Went up back to 74 workers. Feels like both players are giving each other a lot of respect and a lot of time to get back into the game. Initially Astrea, and now soO saying, hey, I've hit my max out about 35-40 seconds ago. Still not attacking. Makes me believe that he almost wants to go into a longer macro game here. With that Hive as well, but the worker count isn't perfect for that. Phoenix almost connecting with the rocks there. Would have been a little bit embarrassing. Luckily it's not going to happen. It's the Lings were in front. This is a scary attack to defend still, but where earlier there only was 2 Archons, now there is 5. To be fair, where earlier there only was 25 Banelings, now there is 60. Wait, where are these Banelings dying? Oh, on the left side. Must have been some type of run by. Did not quite catch actually if it killed anything. Seems to just have damaged some of these cannons. I have a split off of these Banes moving towards the left side. We have... Ooh, this is a big run by here. Gonna see some 2-pronged aggression. Coming out of soO perhaps. Still only stuck on 69 workers. Needs to really either drone up or needs to pull the trigger on this. This attack needed to be sent ages ago. Now here we go. Purification Nova is going to connect with 6-7 Banelings. Super Battery can be activated in the far back, but maybe not even quite necessary yet. More Banelings moving in. Probe transfer almost gets caught in the crossfire there. We have a flank coming in from the left side, but Purification Novas are going to take care of that. Good hold here so far out of Astrea, who hasn't lost, or hardly lost any workers whatsoever. Now starts losing some workers. 10, 13 workers going down. +3 still doing some real damage here. Zealot Runby takes out the right side base most likely, but don't forget, soO still on 5 bases. Even if he would lose this one, and this one seems to still be alive. So it's going to be 6 base against 4. And the capacity to mine here for Astrea has been greatly diminished. With 27 workers on the 4th base. There's some heavy oversaturation going on right now. That is the one thing that we can say about soO, is that there's no oversaturation whatsoever. So despite the worker counts being relatively close, I much prefer soO's economical position. On top of that, we're getting Vipers, we're getting Adrenal Glands. I don't think there's enough cash in the register right now to get any type of Hive tech going, either an Ultra Cavern or a potential Broodlord switch. I also don't think a Broodlord switch is something that would be desirable at this point in the game. Super Battery is going to get taken out before it really gets to heal all that much. Adrenal Glands finishes up as well, so this could be actually a good trade for these Links. Adrenal Glands makes a huge difference in these types of little engagements. Taking out probes, taking out zealots. +2 about to finish up as well in about 20-ish seconds from now. More like 30 seconds. And at that point, Banelings are going to be a real nuisance to deal with. Well, these bad boys mainly deal damage against the rocks, so it's not going to be the end of the world. One connection on these Templars. Close. Very, very close. More Banelings rolling in right now. Melee attacks level 2 about to finish up, and Astrea is going to lose a bunch of workers here. You also have an Archon being taken out by this Ling Runby. Ling Runby now makes its way in towards the old 3rd base. This bad boy is gonna get taken out. Astrea launches a counterattack. Has a lot of army supply, honestly. Has good upgrades as well. Is there enough Archons? Are there enough Archons here? Are there enough Storms? I think yes, to deal with the Lynx. Is there enough to deal with the Banes, though? Especially Banes on creep. Not so sure. Purification Novas have been preserved for now, at least, which means that Roaches will not be great. More Lynx, though, are the units that are in production. And yeah, if these Banes get to connect with absolutely anything, I think that this might just be it. Vipers moving forward. Lynx get in for the surround. Abducts being used as well. Recall not going to be used. GG gets called. And soO, after being down 3-0 in this series, wins 4 in a row to win the best of 7. One hell of a comeback here out of the South Korean Zerg player. In a fantastic show of skill and diverse build orders from both players, honestly. I don't think we saw any real repeats except for the carrier build ones. Fantastic gameplay. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.